Hi there, my name's Louise Coleman. I thought I would do a super quick video on how to support someone who is in a domestic violent relationship. I'll give you a little bit of information about who I am and how I've got here, and then some tips on how to support someone who's in a relationship like this. 5 years ago, the children and I fled from their father. We were lucky enough to get a 6-year AVO, and in the last 5 years I've completed a diploma in Auslan, a diploma in counselling, and I am halfway through a grad cert in family violence. It has been a super hard slog, but now I find myself supporting someone else in their domestic violent relationship. And as I watch the people around her not understand how to support her, I kept thinking to myself, what else can I do with this knowledge that I'm starting to gain and my life experience? And I came to the conclusion that a quick video on how to support someone is my answer. So if you have a friend who comes to you and exposes their incident and tells you that something is going on, or even if they just tell you a story and you think this is domestic violence, the strongest advice I can give you is to just listen. Leave all your expectations at home. Now, your expectations will be to leave or to do something the way you think is the right way for them to do it, but it's not helpful. You just need to listen and support them and not judge them. You need to make sure that you do call it out. If you hear certain bits and pieces, you can say, this is domestic violence, this is not okay. Hopefully it starts them to start understanding that this relationship is not okay. But if you give them ultimatums like, you have to leave him, otherwise I won't be your friend, I won't come to your house if you stay with him, these things are not helpful. The likelihood of this victim starting to push you away and the relationship will start to dissolve is quite high. So you actually just need to support them and believe them and make them feel good and tell them that they're doing a good job however they choose to go through their journey. If the perpetrator is a man, whoever it may be, I know that the victim can be a male or female, but for this video I'm going to talk about the perpetrator probably being a man and the victim probably being a woman. So you need to still smile and still be able to hold some type of conversation with the perpetrator. I know it's one of the hardest things to do, but the thing is, this will support her, and to support her you need to actually be nice to him and not shy away from his behaviour. We already know that you don't support his behaviour, but by bagging him out to her is just not helpful. You just need to support her and listen. Just listen. A good idea if someone starts talking about these things is to explain that it'd be a good idea to have a getaway plan and a bag somewhere, maybe in the car near the front door, with bits and pieces that are helpful to them. Clothes, it's really cold at the moment. I mean, it's hard to fit a jacket in, but anything you need for a baby, bottles, formula, coins for a payphone, maybe notes for a taxi, a piece of paper that has people's number on them, friends or family, whoever it is, 5 numbers on it, people that will answer, someone that will come and pick you up, maybe keys. For myself, I know that my wallet, my phone, my keys were always the first thing to go. I had a spare set of keys hidden outside because sometimes I would be locked outside. For me, the day that we actually left, we went to playgroup, and when I came home just before lunch, I realised as I walked in the door that 2 bottles of red wine had been drunk. I put the kids into a bedroom, and the first thing I did was write my best friend's number on my arm, and I put a hoodie on. Now, many things happened, and we ended up at a neighbour's house for the night as I waited for my parents to fly in from overseas. But that number on my arm saved me from not going back the next day when he came home. It had my best mate's number, who had everyone else's number there ready for me. Now, that wasn't a getaway plan. I was oblivious that I was in a domestic violent relationship, but for some reason that worked for me. I have heard of people, they've got a bookcase, and at the bottom of the bookcase they've got things like passport and IDs and information that they want to keep down there. They grab a bag, scoop everything into a bag, and off they go. I thought that was a great idea. Another idea is to have a code word with your friend. If your friend rings up and says, hey, did I leave my shoes at your house? You know you need to call the cops, or you need to get around there to support her for whatever reason something's going on. A secret email is always a good idea. If someone knows that they're going to leave, you can start gathering up your evidence. After I left, I had a book that had absolutely everything in it. If someone knows that they're going to leave a domestic violent relationship and starts to make a plan with you about leaving, tell them you need a book, you want all the evidence in it, you want the time, the date, whatever it is. 1-800 respect is incredible. If you say to your friend, if it's in the middle of the night, whenever it is, and they need to get stuff off their chest, it's such a good support. You can always Google Orange Door, or Ask Izzy is a good one to Google. It will find organisations around them to help. I found with me, when I put the AVO on my ex, all the police contact organisations, and then they get in contact with you, and that's the time that you need to say, I need support with counselling, I need support here and here, and these organisations are there to help support you. So if you can tell your friend to actually put an AVO on the person, if they're ready, if they're at that stage, that's when all the support can start coming in. For myself, I really didn't realise I was in a domestic violent relationship. I never had a black eye. And although there was physical abuse, it only happened once a year. And for some reason, I just didn't understand the abuse and how intertwined it was within my relationship. I'll give you an example. I wanted to work after I had children, and one night I had decided that I would go and work in a restaurant with my sister for a few hours. I'd only been a couple of hours in and checked my phone, and I had so many missed calls from all my family members and my ex. He was very, very drunk. Everyone was telling me that I needed to go home. I had still quite a few hours to finish my shift, and all I did was worry about the children, who were thankfully asleep, worried about what I was going home to. He did get me home earlier. I left, and because he told me that he was going to call women, was talking to women, whatever it was, and it worked. I got home. It wasn't a nice scene to come home to. A few things had been smashed around the house. It was a very long night. And if you had have asked me at the time or afterwards why I didn't work, I would have just said that I had chosen not to work. And I truly believed that. But what I now understand is that the control he had over me and the consequences I felt like I had if I had have worked weren't worth it. So why would I ever work? Because the consequence of this man getting drunk and behaving like this were not worth it. I wanted to keep my family together. I thought I could fix him. I thought I could do all these things to keep it running smoothly. But what I realised was that that coercive control he had over me meant that financially I had no independence. Socially, I couldn't meet anyone that way. Emotionally, that night totally stopped me, and emotionally I would never go off to work again while I was with him. So what I have started to realise is that every part of my relationship was controlled. It wasn't just this physical once a year, and that was my cycle. There was many bits throughout it, and it was very much intertwined. So if you are trying to support someone, my main advice is to just listen. You can call it out, but don't expect them to leave. They might try, but they might also say to you, I'm happy here, I still want to keep trying, and I'm going to fix them, and he's told me he's sorry, and we'll work it out. It is a pattern. It takes a long time to get to the point where you leave, so you just need to support your loved one, and hopefully at some stage they will leave and be safe when they do and don't become a statistic. Hopefully this helps someone. It is such a horrible road to be going down your domestic violence journey, but for me, I was so oblivious. I think it's harder watching someone go down their journey, and supporting them the right way. So hopefully this helps someone, anyone. Good luck.